I've been liking using the Bella bronzer underneath my makeup just to tone. And if you missed that live that I did the other day, let me know, or just go to my feed and check it out. But I really like putting this down first, kind of filling in areas where you don't have pigmentation or you don't have enough color. Just evens everything out. And I feel like you use so much less of your regular makeup that way. I think it's a game changer. I like it a lot. We're toning first, we're adding our main colors, we're contouring, and then we can add blush. And yes, we're gonna do the blush before we do our correcting or filtering, because a lot of times, a lot of your blush can actually also help color correct or add back in color so that any of your dark spots or under eye discoloration just doesn't pop or stand out as much. So these are two of the new shades that are available this season. This one is Rosewood and Maui. I'm gonna mix the two together. Remember, that's what's so great about having custom shades, is that you can tap in and create your own. So I'm kind of tapping back and forth into these two colors, and we're gonna put those right on our cheeks. Just pushing and tapping and blending in. Let me show you the other side here where I have the melasma, how that's gonna help just lessen this color distinction, this different color that's really popping here with that sunspot. First, I addressed this eye here with some of my Demi corrector shades. So it's a subtle difference, but let me know if you can see the difference between this darkness here, right here, and then this kind of under eye trough area compared to this side. And I'll go ahead and show you what I experimented with. And really with Demi, that is what you have to do. I would say that my favorite shades for almost all of us to use are gonna be 01, 03, Y01, and maybe R01. So I will show you here in the next slide just kind of how I experimented with that. And again, what I put on my eye is not going to necessarily work for you. It might. So you really need to just play with your Demi and test out what works and covers best for you. I almost always start with 03, the orange 3, and I'm going to just address some of the darker areas, tapping in with my spot brush. Now, it's really important that you do this in natural light and that you get yourself a big magnifying mirror. I'm gonna do my best because I'm just using my phone and I'm sitting in front of a window, which is great for the light, but you always wanna just touch. Let's see if you can see that here. I almost always start with 03, the orange 3, and I'm going to just address some of the darker areas, tapping in with my spot brush. Now, it's really important that you do this in natural light and that you get yourself a big magnifying mirror. I'm gonna do my best because I'm just using my phone and I'm sitting in front of a window, which is great for the light, but you always wanna just touch. Let's see if you can see that here. So this was a spot that I had treated with the 03, and you can see I just placed it right there. So let's go ahead and grab more 03, and I'm gonna go and just touch these areas where I see the darkest. I'm starting with 03 as a base color, and then I will switch shades if I need to. And you only wanna touch very lightly the areas where you see the darkest distractions. Switch your brush over. This is the spot brush. This is great for just then lightly kind of filtering or dusting out a little bit of that Demi color, and then take yourself another look and see where else you might need to add some more, or do you need to switch shades? After you do that, go ahead and take a look and see, do you need to switch color wheel shades? So this is yellow orange one, and on the color wheel that might address a little bit more darker purple. So I'm just gonna look here and say, right kind of in here, let me just test a little bit of this color. Again, you're just using the smallest amount, just tap that in, and then find the color and only tap it on the darker color that you want to filter. It's always easy, or actually I should say the opposite. It's kind of hard to stop because you kind of want to just keep adding. But if you see that distraction or that color filter, then just stop and leave it alone. Last thing I like to do is I like to play around with the 01. You could also use even maybe one of your really light highlight shades like a linen or even Versailles or something like that. But I'm going to be using it to pull forward my under eye bag lines. And I put it over here earlier, but let's go ahead. I'm going to just tap in with my spot brush and tip down or up so that you can see where those indentations are. And you're really just putting a little bit of that color in where you see those indentations. And so it's a little tricky here with this beautiful glowy makeup I have on. I'm having a hard time seeing those, but here, I'll put some more over here so you can see, kind of like this, right in the trough. We don't want to put it on the area that is protruding out. We just want to put this color under into the trough so that it pulls those forward. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try 03 now. Let me tap in. And that's much better. We're just only touching the area, the darkest areas of that sunspot. And then I'm going to switch over to this side of that brush and just lightly kind of press it in, feather it around a bit, kind of up, and just keeping it only there on that spot. Now, that even looks a little bit light to me, so I might have to go back in and add or tone it down with maybe some of my main highlight shade. So I'll experiment with that. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take just my finger and tap it into a little bit of my, one of my main highlight shades. This one's called Mango. And just give a little tap, just a bit, just to kind of tone around so it's not, again, too light or like too filtered. And that's great. That's enough. I feel like that has filtered that out enough, my under eye. And just like we talked about making sure that we do our brows and add, make our eyes pop, don't forget to add some color to your cheeks and your lips. Adding color back in as we get more mature is really important. I think we gain a lot of color in weird spots that we don't want it, but we also lose a lot of pigmentation in our brows, our lips, and our cheeks and our face. So adding color in the right areas is just, that's the key. So I hope that made sense. Let me know.